Now, about division of labor, right? You have more um, more specialized roles in terms of job descriptions, right? Gone are the days where for example, a company administrator is doing the work of an accountant, doing the work of maybe a security man because his office is close to the gate, and he has to watch everybody who is coming into the premises. So we have a higher level of specialization. We have substantial level of integration of technology into processes. And that's why we're here today, right? Because we want to learn about technologies that are, that we use as part of our work processes. Also, we have high expectations for deliverables in terms of time and quality. Yes, organizations these days have zero tolerance for inefficiency. Most organizations want you to deliver. For example, you're given a task and the deadline for delivering is maybe 5 hours. If possible, you'll be expected to deliver in under 4 hours, right? Companies they can't tolerate that same level of lag that probably could have been the case in times past. So, next slide, please. Now, what's the significance of AI? What's the usefulness of AI in the context of contemporary work? We've talked about the peculiarities of modern work and modern workplaces. To be able to excel, to be able to maximize your efforts, it's very wise to take advantage of tools that are available, right? AI being a very good example. Before as we're about to consider this, I want us to just consider this this man, Nick Leider. He wrote about man-computer symbiosis, right? A sort of marriage between man and computer systems, which is a basis for something, for an advent like AI. Nick Leider envisioned the future when people and computers would supplement each other in an expected development in cooperative interaction. Now, this man foresaw a synergy or a synergistic relationship between human beings and computer systems, right? And like our keynote speaker said earlier, the research work on AI has been going on for years, a long time before now. And we are just at advantage in our own times to witness these explosive breakthroughs that we are seeing in AI. So now you're at your workplace. You maybe, for example, you desire promotions, you desire better pay, of course, you want to climb the career ladder, and you know that for you to be able to do this, you need to deliver more. You need to do more than the average employee, right? So you're seeking means by which you can achieve this quickly. AI is a very potent tool to fast track your career progression. By contributing more to the corporate, whatever the corporate objective your company has outlined. But you need to be able to make use of applicable AI tools within the domain of your practice. For example, there are tools that are general that just anyone in any field can use, like ChatGPT, right? There are also some other tools that are just suited for specific fields. An example is this OpenAI, the guys that created ChatGPT. They also have this Dolby product, right, which is for image generation, right? So, say for example, a banker may not necessarily need that, but that would work better for maybe a graphic designer or even a medical doctor could make use of it. For example, maybe trying to create an imagery of a medical anatomical condition or something. The bottom line is that there are some tools that are better suited for certain fields, certain professions than other fields, than other tools, rather. Next slide, please. So, popular AI tools, we have Google Bard, which is best for academic research. We have Open ChatGPT, which everyone knows. We have this Dolby, we have H2.0, we have Jasper. Next slide, please. Now, we want to talk about how AI improves employee productivity. Our keynote speaker already veered on task automation. Now, this is one of the core areas where you can take advantage of AI, because the truth is that AI is still largely undergoing improvement, right? We are not yet there, and I will explain some reasons why I say this. But as it stands now, the average person can take advantage of AI by, like you said, looking for tools that are applicable in their own field and trying to use that for, in this case, to automate tasks. What do you mean? I mean, you have certain things, maybe it's repetitive things you do a couple times a day. You want to be able to create some free time for yourself by having something else perform a task that ordinarily you would have been constrained to perform, and that would have consumed your time, right? But you want to allot that task to an AI tool for you. For example, we have AI-powered learning management systems, right? LMSs. Those can maybe do grading for you. You have a series of, I'm talking now for those in the educational space. You have a series of grade assessment scores. You have them maybe, if they were on paper, for example, you could have had an OCR, optical character recognition software, like extract the text out of the images, and then you possibly load it into your LMS system, and the LMS system grades it for you. So if you have a series of that, you can have that going on for you while you attend to other things, right? So task automation, it could also be with respect to maybe project management, or other things like that. So it's really useful. It will help you to be able to allot time to other things, other purposes. Then we have driving the making of better data-driven decisions. Our speaker already said earlier that AI helps us to be able to make more insightful decisions. It helps us because this is how it happens practically. So you have a large an agent, AI agent that's been trained using a large amount of data sets, right? Now, this agent has been trained maybe with up to, let's use a very minimal number, maybe a billion data sets. You can imagine how much time it will take a human being, or even 100 human beings, to read through 1 billion data sets. It's definitely maybe in a year's time or something. But you have systems that can do this in no time, right? And on top of this, they are able to extract insights, information with regards to, the patterns within those data sets, and use them to be able to, for example, predict sort of a predictive act, predict potential future states of whatever event it is you're trying to monitor using your data set, right? So let me give an example. So let's say we have data sets about occurrence of malaria in Africa. And these data sets are up to maybe 650 million. And then we use these data sets to train our agents, that's using the LLMs. And then maybe in the coming year, the health monitoring body is keen on finding out the probability of a malaria outbreak in the next 5 years. Now, this is how AI works generally. It takes patterns in previous data sets and uses them to predict future occurrences, right? So it's just like a practical example, please. So I come to this building at 5 p.m. on Monday, 5 p.m. on Tuesday.
Please, if you have questions, just write it down now, so that we'll just prepare the question together. We are not going to go through one of the others. So if you have questions, for the speakers, and which I have now, the lead are the report of what we send to the city, so we'll be able to answer that question.
Okay, so using the previous data sets, we can now predict possibilities of a malaria outbreak. Now, next slide, please. Now, if you quite agree with me, this is not entirely knowing in the context of foreknowledge, right? It's just prediction based on previous occurrences. That's all AI does, right? In terms of prediction. So next thing is it helps improve communication and collaboration. At work, we all use conferencing tools, right? And I'm sure many of us are familiar with all these note taker agents, right? When you're having your conferences, video conferences, you have there are a couple of them that will take notes, like transcribe your meetings, right? So we also have an advantage of facilitating task and operations focused research, right? You can just type in a query into ChatGPT, trying to perform a query, trying to perform a research, right? Or like you said, Google Bard or some other AI tool. Next slide, please. Now, I just talked about some examples of AI tools. Here we have Asana, Trello, and Slack for project management. If you're familiar with many of these softwares, actually offer integrations for other plugins that help us. For example, Slack integrates Google Calendar and helps to notify you whenever you have an upcoming meeting, right? It also integrates with Jira and a whole host of them. So they help you to be able to keep track of whatever events or upcoming tasks you have. Then we have Breathe, which is a Chrome web extension, and it helps you. This is a productivity tool. It helps you to be able to monitor your browsing history over time, and for example, when you spend too much time on a particular screen, it will maybe suggest something you can do to just so that you divert your attention away from whatever you spend so long time doing. Then we have Word Stream, and this one is for content summarization, right? There are a host of them. So many of them, right? Just whatever your use case is, just identify it, and then you look for an AI tool that can help you in that instance. Next slide. Okay, for the employer. Now, if you're an employer of labor, if you're the owner of the workplace, what's your primary concern? Your primary concern is to move the business forward. And how can you do that? There are two things you want to focus on: your employee, right, and your business. Your employee performance, right? Your employee performance. How can you monitor your employee performance? You can have AI based tools that monitor things like, I'm sure we have lots of softwares like this these days. For example, monitor login time, track activity, keypad activity. How you tap your devices, what tasks you completed. So many useful features like that. And we also have, and so this helps an employer to be able to, you're able to understand how productive your workers are, right? Also, we have for the business, like we said, using data, right? You're able to extract insights about your business performance, right? Next slide, please. Now, how do we maximize AI as a productivity tool? Before you maximize something, before you talk about maximizing something, you need to understand its limits. You need to understand its capacities, right? As a whole. Now, there are certain limitations of AI, like our speaker earlier said. It's not an independent entity, right? It depends on data sets that it is fed with to be able to become intelligent enough to exercise its functions, right? So we see at the core, AI doesn't have human empathy, right? Let's take it for the base. Human empathy, emotional intelligence, original creativity in problem solving. It cannot do anything of its own at all. It cannot do anything by itself, right? It can only perform to the limit of intelligence, again in quotes, limit of intelligence that it has gained from the training it has received, right? So now, but you as a human being, you have all this within you, right? Let's give an example. You have a surgeon who is performing the surgery on a patient. Let's say you're performing what they call this thing, a hemispherectomy, right, on one half of the brain, and you notice that there is an abnormality, right, in that part of the brain. And this was not observed before. The scans did not report all these things. So how do you deal with that? Let's assume the surgeon were an AI agent, it will be at a loss, a complete loss, except it has been trained to handle that kind of situation. If not, it will be at a complete loss. But a human being, first of all, because it has human empathy, it can relate to the necessity of the work that needs to be done, irrespective of whether it was pre-informed or not, right? It can relate to that necessity. And it can also, come up with original ideas. That's where man will always trump science, right? So we have these things and we're able to leverage them in solving problems. Next slide, please. So now, AI and limitations. We have this buzzword, AI flying everywhere. And in fact, right now it has become more or less a marketing strategy. If any software-based company is not leveraging AI in its products, it will be seen as lagging behind, right? So AI has become so significant, but we need to understand its limitations, right? And this is one. Joe McKendrick of Forbes said something. He said, despite perceptions, AI doesn't have a shred of creativity within it of its own self, right? It's all statistical algorithms, right? Slumping data, that's extracting data from sources created or supplied by humans somewhere along the line. So AI will not develop fundamentally new ideas of its own. It doesn't have that ability, right? So you need to understand that, so that you understand how much reliance on it, right? Next slide, please. Okay, so another quote by Andy Thurai of Constellation Research. This man is a pioneer researcher in AI, and I think he's been a researcher for about 25 years or so. He said, innovation cannot and can never happen by AI alone, because innovation requires creativity, right? AI cannot generate its own creativity. it doesn't have that capacity. So next slide, please. Now, how do we leverage AI in skill development? Now, we established something earlier. We said AI is something that is unique to fields, right? AI tools are unique. They're peculiar to different fields. Whatever field you're in determines the kind of AI tool you would need, right? So before you can leverage AI for skill development, you need to, first of all, say, for example, interact with, say, something like ChatGPT. Ask it, simple questions. What skills are most in demand globally, right? For my profession. Say I'm an accountant. What are the skills? You can just throw a query into ChatGPT. What are the most in-demand skills, globally in-demand skills for accountants in 2023? So things like that, and then you do that with GPT, you do that with other AI agents, and then you're able to, narrow down your findings and pick out, the most useful of them. So next slide. Okay, so I think this is the end of my presentation. I want to also hint on something. How we can leverage AI for say innovation, business-oriented innovation, right? You're an employee, but you don't intend to remain an employee forever. I mean, there's so much you can do with AI, even if it doesn't directly, if it's not directly applicable in your field, there is definitely a way it can facilitate, it can help you in your business pursuits, right? Maybe you're seeking ideas, right, of what you can do with AI. There is this custom GPT now that ChatGPT is releasing, I think this month. If they've not already released it, with which you can create your own, maybe your own apps, in quotes, AI agent-based apps, or AI-based apps, right? And you can do maybe document summarization apps. You can do research apps, things you can commercialize, and they're opening a store for it. It's just very simple, very basic idea, right? And you can also take it up, a ladder and build more complicated software that are largely powered by AI. And trust me, it's going to be really useful in today's world. So I think with this, I'm done. Thank you very much for listening. Oh, thank you.
So while we are with the entrepreneurs to come up first, we see how more questions, you can still write it down so that it will be addressed. Please, the protocol brethren, let us tell the people in the other breakfast come up now so that we can have this section. I believe you are getting something right. Oh my Lord. I believe you are getting something. And the thing is entering. Please don't just let this period pass by start working around the things you want to do with tools of AI, and the site will be a stepping stone in Jesus' name. You know, the path told us we should keep on dreaming. Yes, dreaming, dreaming, dreaming. And we are trusting God that the dream will come to fruition in Jesus' name. So if you see our question, just happy to the protocol people, they will put all the questions together. Please, if you are not registered, we want to just a raise of hand. Our protocol to come to you. And if you are not after the description online, our protocol as well will get close to you right now so I can tell you what to do. We are practicing AI here. So if you are not registered, just wave your hands. So everybody now they are seeing you, and they're getting straight to you. As well, you can even acquaintance. Not everything on the back. And it have answer, you can start when what will be the so the link is on. You can just log on to that link and do the registration as well. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. You are going up to something bigger. Something bigger. Something bigger. Amen.
Thank you, Larry.
I don't know for that. We're going to take a few minutes now. The feedback of other speakers. So I call on Brother Rotimi to do that for us very, very quickly. Praise the Lord. We sincerely appreciate our speakers, although one of them in particular, he didn't want us here, but still I want to thank that those that we brought to this program have the requisite experience, expertise, and exposure to do justice to the concept of artificial intelligence. I start with Mr. Temitope Agbola. That's the person that handled the section upstairs here, and that section speaks to how artificial, that AI and workforce dynamics, skill development, and workplace productivity. So a brief about our speaker for that session is a senior software engineer, host, and convener of the Tech Pedestal for Engineers. Also is a technical speaker, optimal engineer, and system design for distributed large data system. He has also worked in software space for more than half a decade. He has professional experience with Nigerian and foreign tech companies in the UK and US that spans several domains, including fintech, edtech, artificial intelligence or machine language, and cyber security tooling development. He possesses cloud technology certification and presently works with CSI Linux UK. Briefly, on our second speaker, he spoke about how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing small business operations and productivity. That was the breakout session that was held at the ground floor. His name is Mr. Samuel Badibo. He's a graduate of the Great Ife of Bafemi Awolowo University, where he studied history. Eventually into computer science and software engineering during his NYSC days by learning how to program in Python 2 pages per day, and subsequently became a web developer. This is a challenge for you and I, despite the days of little beginning. Now he's here, a speaker, and he has gone ahead to do great things. He also has certification in RPA, BPM, AWS. Please don't ask me, I don't know the full meaning. Maybe you can ask him later on. And also Google Cloud Platform. Also, he works as a solution consultant as Process Maker, the leading intelligence platform, as a service solution in Durham, North Carolina, USA. And lastly,
He enjoyed working at the section of business and IT and love solving business problems. So here, today, we are brought in to help us explore how we can adopt AI to solve business personal problem for effectiveness in all we do. Thank you.
So I'm sure there's no fear in your heart, so you can be careful. Does anybody have any question I want to give? I can get one or two questions right now before I close that process, right? Because when we go into discussion time, you have them there and they are willing and ready, to break down whatever is coming before you and AI, so that you can assume this AI. Amen. I like putting amen there because I'm number one. The second question, number two. Think about the question, or else I will just continue. Okay. Yes. The question here, the question here is, how do you AI in teaching you, especially when you are teaching a lower class, like primary and nursery? How can we use AI? I believe our speakers are there. In fact, they are just fine already. Look at this ABC question someone is asking. Okay. And then another question. What tools can AI use? What AI tools can I use to improve my professionalism as a teacher? Wow. Teachers are not just keeping quiet right now, okay? All right, no wahala. Okay, so I will pick up those two questions and let me add one more question from the people raising their hands. All right.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for doing your topic. Okay, so I think the speaker who taught us also here talk about data and understand that in Africa there is a concept of data. So my question is, how can the help Africa get it done? I think that so yes, so that whether the data for the West and we have a lot of local data. The question is how can
because it has been building in English. And so from there, you can see that if I say I, you know the next word I must follow I, then context. Mistake, I write it perfect because that's